Strength built from survival is not weakness. It is the quiet power that grows from enduring pain and still choosing to rise again. It is the invisible courage of those who never had the luxury of falling apart because life didn't give them that option. Survival strength is born in the shadows, in sleepless nights, in unspoken fears, in holding yourself together when the world around you is falling apart. It doesn't look glamorous or loud. It looks like showing up when your heart is tired, like smiling through tears, like pretending you're fine when you're barely holding on. For many, this kind of strength began in childhood when they had to become responsible, stable, or wise beyond their years just to feel safe. They learned early that love could be unpredictable, that promises could be broken, and that sometimes, the only person they could rely on was themselves. That early self-reliance became their survival mechanism. They built emotional armor out of necessity, not choice. And even though that armor kept them safe, it also made them forget that they were allowed to be soft, to be comforted, to be cared for. But survival strength is not the same as emotional numbness. It is the flame that refuses to go out, even in the strongest wind. It's the inner whisper that says, keep going, when everything inside you screams to stop. People who have survived hard things often carry invisible scars, but those scars are maps of resilience. They are not signs of weakness, they are proof that healing was once necessary. Each one tells a story of nights you didn't think you'd make it through, of heartbreaks that didn't destroy you, of fears that lost their power because you faced them anyway. True strength is not the absence of pain, it's the ability to keep love alive despite it. In a world that glorifies effortless confidence, survival strength is often misunderstood. Some might see it as coldness, emotional distance, or control. But in reality, it's the language of someone who learned to protect themselves because they once had to. It's the strength of the woman who always stays calm because chaos used to be her normal. It's the strength of the man who provides for everyone else because no one ever provided for him. It's the strength of the child who grew up too fast and still managed to build a life out of what was left. To survive is to resist the pull of despair, and that resistance, that steady endurance, is one of the purest forms of courage. Over time, however, survival strength asks to be softened. The same traits that once kept you safe can start to hold you back when danger has passed. Hyper-independence, self-sacrifice, and perfectionism, they once saved you, but they can also prevent you from truly living. Healing means realizing that you no longer have to be on guard. It's learning to rest without guilt, to trust again, to receive help without feeling weak. It's remembering that strength is not about never needing anyone, it's about knowing when to lean on someone and allowing them to hold you. The walls that protected you as a child do not have to become your prison as an adult. To those who have survived, your strength is sacred. You did what you had to do to make it through, and that will always be something to honor. But you deserve more than survival. You deserve peace. You deserve a life where you don't have to fight to feel safe, where love doesn't come with fear, where you can breathe without expecting something to go wrong. Your strength is the foundation upon which you can now build softness, compassion, and freedom. It's what allows you to forgive, to let go, to begin again. Healing begins when you allow yourself to need love. Real love, not the kind you have to earn, not the kind that depends on perfection, but the kind that accepts your broken pieces and still chooses to stay. For many people who've been hurt, who've had to grow up too fast or survive in environments where affection was scarce, needing love feels dangerous. It feels like opening a wound that took years to close. They've learned to depend only on themselves, to rely on control and self-sufficiency because depending on others once led to pain. But the truth is, no one heals in isolation. Healing is not found in strength alone, it's found in softness, in letting others see the parts of you that tremble, in admitting that sometimes, you can't do it all on your own. To need love is to be human. Yet so many of us treat it like a weakness, as if wanting to be understood or held makes us fragile. But love, real, healthy love, is not weakness. It's medicine. It's what restores safety to the nervous system, what teaches the heart that it can relax, that it no longer has to brace for disappointment. When you allow yourself to need love, you are allowing yourself to heal from the deep wounds of loneliness, neglect, and self-denial. You are teaching your inner child that it is safe to reach out again, safe to receive, safe to trust. Those who have spent their lives being the strong ones often find this the hardest. They are the helpers, the fixers, the givers, always showing up for others, but never allowing anyone to show up for them. Somewhere in their past, they learned that their needs were burdensome, that love had to be earned through achievement, caretaking, or silence. So they built their identities around selflessness and endurance. But love cannot truly enter a life built on emotional walls. The heart that never asks for help may be admired, but it also remains unseen. And healing is impossible if no one ever sees where it hurts. To allow yourself to need love means learning to receive without guilt. It means letting a friend comfort you instead of saying "I'm fine." It means saying yes when someone offers kindness instead of pushing them away. It means admitting that strength is not about being invulnerable, it's about having the courage to let someone else touch the places that ache. True connection happens when masks fall, when we let people witness our humanity. That is where love begins, and that is where healing takes root. Sometimes the first step is simply allowing yourself to believe that you deserve love in the first place. Many who carry emotional scars secretly believe they are unworthy of being loved, too damaged, too complicated, too much. But love doesn't wait for you to be perfect. Love, in its purest form, exists to help you become whole. The moment you stop hiding your pain, you give others the chance to meet you with compassion. You discover that love doesn't just fill the empty spaces, it helps you make peace with them. It doesn't erase your past, it teaches you that your past does not disqualify you from belonging. Healing through love also means learning to love yourself again, not with vanity, but with tenderness. It's allowing your heart to soften toward yourself, to forgive the parts of you that coped the only way they knew how. It's understanding that the walls you built were not failures, they were protections. And now, as you heal, you can take them down one by one. When you give yourself permission to need love, you stop living in survival mode. You begin to see relationships not as risks, but as refuges. You start to believe that someone can hold your truth without running away. Reconnecting with your inner child is reclaiming your peace. It is the process of remembering the version of you that existed before the world told you who you had to be, the part of you that was curious, playful, soft, and unafraid to dream. Life has a way of hardening us. Responsibilities, heartbreaks, and disappointments teach us to suppress that innocent part of ourselves. We grow into adults who are capable, efficient, and strong, but often disconnected from the wonder and tenderness that once made us whole. Reconnecting with your inner child is not regression, it's restoration. It's not about becoming childish, but about allowing yourself to feel again, to laugh freely, to trust again, to find joy in simple things without guilt. It's remembering that you were not born anxious, afraid, or self-critical, those were lessons learned through survival. As children, we experience life in full color. Every emotion is vivid, every moment alive. But when pain enters, through neglect, criticism, or loss, we begin to dim our own light to stay safe. We learn to hide parts of ourselves that others didn't accept. The loud child learns to stay quiet. The sensitive child learns to stop crying. The creative child learns that dreams are unrealistic. And little by little, we trade authenticity for approval. By the time we reach adulthood, many of us have become experts at functioning but strangers to ourselves. The inner child remains buried beneath layers of control, achievement, and self-protection, still waiting to be seen, still longing for love. Reconnecting with your inner child means creating a safe space inside yourself where that younger version of you can finally exhale. It means acknowledging their pain without judgment, saying, "I see you. You didn't deserve what happened. You were never the problem." It's giving compassion to the moments when you felt small, scared, or unloved. Peace begins to return when you stop silencing that voice inside. You start to realize that many of your adult struggles, perfectionism, people-pleasing, fear of failure, are echoes of unmet childhood needs. The child within you still seeks reassurance, still wants to be accepted without conditions. When you reconnect with them, you stop fighting yourself. You begin to understand why certain things trigger you so deeply. You stop seeing your emotions as flaws and start recognizing them as signals. That's when healing becomes possible, not through resistance, but through understanding. Reconnecting with your inner child also means learning to play again. In a world obsessed with productivity, play is often dismissed as trivial. But joy is not trivial, it's essential. When you let yourself dance without reason, paint without perfection, or walk barefoot in the grass, you're not wasting time, you're repairing the bond between who you are and who you were. You're telling your inner child, it's safe now. You can come out and live. The peace that follows is quiet but profound. It's the feeling of finally being at home in your own skin. Many people avoid this process because it brings old pain to the surface. Facing the child within often means confronting memories of rejection, abandonment, or fear. But running from that pain only deepens the disconnection. When you choose to sit with it, to feel what once felt unbearable, you discover that pain doesn't destroy you anymore. It transforms you. It teaches you empathy for yourself and others. You learn to give yourself the love you once craved from someone else. That self-love becomes your anchor, the foundation of peace that no external validation can replace. In the end, reconnecting with your inner child is not about fixing the past, it's about freeing yourself from it. It's about realizing that the child who once felt unseen, unworthy, or afraid still lives within you, quietly waiting for your love. When you choose to turn inward with compassion instead of criticism, you begin to heal the deepest layers of your being. You start to see that peace isn't something you chase, it's something you remember. Every time you laugh without reason, forgive yourself for mistakes, or allow yourself to rest without guilt, you are giving that inner child what they always needed: safety, warmth, and acceptance. The more you nurture that forgotten part of you, the more whole you become. Your heart softens, your mind quiets, and your spirit begins to trust life again. True peace doesn't come from escaping your story, it comes from embracing every part of it: the pain, the growth, the light, and the love. When you finally whisper to your inner child, "You can come home now," something powerful shifts inside you. The fight ends. The pretending ends. And for the first time in a long time, you simply breathe and feel whole again.